Lost is on.
Welcome back to Bite-Sized Media Thursday. Everybody, a subsidiary of Off Slate Media. We are watching Lost because it's good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, glorious day. We get to start season 2. This is, of course, one of my favorite seasons, as I've said several times on the podcast. Most of what I remember of this is mostly, I think, probably the ending, where they're back on the island. They've swum back to the island or floated back to the island. They're on the rocks. Jin runs out of the.
Jin is on the rocks.
No, he runs out of the forest onto the rocks, and the silhouettes of the others
are right there.
Are well. They say, "What's up? What are you running from?" And he goes, "Others." And the camera it cuts to just silhouettes of people standing there with like clubs and stuff. And then
that's right.
Lost. I mean, that's kind of all of what I remember.
Is this the introduction of Ben Linus? Is that his name?
No, he doesn't get
I thought he was introduced. Well, I remember the opening scene of this. It's Desmond waking up on the hatch listening to Downtown.
Yeah.
And then boom.
Yep.
And then I remember that because your brother Aaron liked that song so much that he's like, dude, it's just such a good song. And I was like, yeah, it is. Like, I'm surprised he likes something older than him at the time. But then we're listening and he's like, it kind of sounds like that Green Day song, Waiting. And I go, yeah, Waiting kind of does sound a little bit like it. I mean, because in the Green Day song, I think it's because they say the word downtown.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Downtown, lights always shine on me like a new and so he always brought that up because your brother, huge Green Day fan back around this time, mostly.
Yeah.
I remember he had that American Idiot poster on his wall where their eyes follow you no matter where you are in the room. You remember that when he's in that tiny little upstairs room?
Like a lenticular thing?
What does that word mean?
Eyes.
Oh.
No. It's a manner of printing something to where if you shift to one side, the image will move.
No, it doesn't move. It's because they're looking straight at the camera. No matter where you are, they're looking at you.
Okay.
And they're not really at an angle, I don't think. So it's like they're like this, and it's like no matter where you go, they're like looking at you. It's a optical illusion type thing. Yeah. Or it's not even an illusion, it's just an optical thing.
Didn't he like U2 at the time?
Not yet.
That was a little later. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole conversation because he clowned me for it for a couple years, and then he started listening to it, and now it's like his favorite group.
Is that when he started to learn guitar?
No, he learned guitar. He started guitar in what, like 5th grade?
Something like that,
Yeah, he started in like 5th grade, and then about sophomore, junior year of high school for us, he started liking U2. I got to him. That's the one person I got to when it comes to
Are you
U2.
sure it was you that got to him? I know another big U2 fan that
I think it was both, but I mean, he was making fun of me for so long.
I mean, that's just kind of his thing, though.
Or was. Is it still?
Making fun of Jared?
Yeah, does he still make fun of people? I hope he... I don't think he watches this podcast. I hope he'd watch this episode to know what we're talking about.
He does.
He does!
Well, at least a couple of years ago he did, because we were at his birthday party, and it was at Buffalo Wild Wings, and he was sitting, like, right next to me, and he said, how's the podcast going? And, like, your brother is the type of cool person that doesn't usually talk to me. So I just kind of like, I looked behind me like, who are you talking to? And he was talking to me, and I was like, you know I have a podcast? It was
wait. How did that? Doesn't mean he watches or listens.
I assume
he just knows it exists.
How does he know it exists without having watched at least one episode?
Because probably like social media posts, just saying, "Oh yeah, they have a podcast." He's also my friend, so I probably talked to him.
And when's the last time you talked to him?
Not that long
Christmas?
ago. In person, yeah.
Okay.
'Cause I never see him, really. I hope he's listening, though. I hope you hear us talking about you for 5 minutes. But that's what I was getting at. But this is Lost.
Lost season 2. The orange season. Actually, we need to
Yeah,
do
where was
a ceremonial changing of the season.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Woohoo! This is what we're talking about here.
Oops. How do I like that?
Oh yeah, I like that.
Okay.
You say that type of crap every time we see Sawyer shirtless, which is most episodes.
I'm okay with me saying it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, of course I'm fine with myself. Anyone else does, of course not. Except Sawyer and Jin. If either one of them made that noise at me, I'd be like, okay, that's okay.
What's happening?
More of the pneumonia is coming up.
We ready to watch the episode?
I think so. Are you ready to watch the episode?
I'm excited to get, past season 1.
Hold on. I have a question, a deep question for Aaron. You've watched the first season 5 times. How many times have you seen season 2?
Well, I think I've said it before, but I've seen it all the way through once, and I've gotten to varying points in season 2 probably 2 or 3 times. So
Varying points of season 2.
yep.
It's
you-
kind of an easy season to...
Jump off because
Yeah.
it's boring.
I wouldn't say it's boring, but...
We'll see. Again, I keep saying it. We'll see. I haven't seen this in 14 years. I just remember season 1, I was hyped. Got into 2, excited about the hatch, and then by a third of the way through, I was ready to be done. Not with the show, just season 2. I was like, can we move on to something else? I think 'cause season 1 they go all around, and season 2 they're at least one chunk of the perspective is in one spot.
Yeah.
And I think that's what threw me off when I was like 15 years old. But yeah,
Boy, that's half your life ago.
yeah.
All right. Are you all ready to get lost?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Let's get lost. Well, welcome back, everybody. We just watched the season opener of Lost, Season 2, Man of Faith, Man of Science.
Man of science, man of faith.
Sorry. Yeah. Mm-hmm,
Hey, you were
that's right.
close.
So I like that episode.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but
Yeah.
I like it. It's a good way to introduce one of our favorite characters, Desmond.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it's I was thinking of a funny joke, and it's season 2 finally. This is a good episode. You know why? 'Cause we're not in the hatch yet. And then we go into the hatch. But that was the joke. But then that made me wonder how much of because everything in the hatch is not filmed with the season 1 stuff. But how much of that episode was filmed with the season 1 schedule? Like them
Good
going
question.
down the hatch is probably not. But like, where do you
sure?
cut? Because they have to. Yeah, because they have to cut they have to go back to that and do all the makeup and all the costuming. Months to a year after. So it's like, how much was filmed with season 1?
I think the wire part would have been because they would have all just been in that spot, makeup that way.
Yeah, it makes sense why, but I just remember thinking during it, I was like, yeah, show shooting schedules are so interesting because, especially this one where you have so many things going on, you have to have multiple units, but you're not doing multiple units for 1 2-hour thing. You're covering like 20 hours worth of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you have stuff that gets cut, so you're filming so much with so many people and multiple crews. It's like, I do not envy the job of sorting that shooting schedule. Like, that just sounds like a nightmare. But people do it as a job. And
What was the specific term used for it? Dickie used to say it. I don't remember what it was.
like not a script supervisor. No, that's the one that's
he
reading
said-
the script.
I think he
on
said.
set.
I think the first one he said was like showgirl, but then it was politically incorrect to say that because obviously.
Well, there's script girl, which is an old term, but
Yeah.
then now that's script supervisor.
Yeah.
And that's the person literally looking at the script while you're on set.
Continuity person.
Yeah, the continuity is another one. It's continuity is a different one. That's the one that's like focusing on makeup and costumes and props, like where everything is shot to shot and scene to scene. But there is a term for it. But it's interesting still thinking about the show shooting schedules, especially for something like this, which has all the flashbacks and all the different characters. So it's like, I'd like to see that schedule, like this big long thing out. Like, okay, this chunk here, this chunk here. I feel like they did all the island stuff first, and then all the flashback stuff was, again, the smaller crews spread out. Yeah. Unless there was overlap, you had, it's mostly your characters in their own area. So, and it's a TV budget, so it's a little smaller than a film budget, just a little. But also at this point, they had a lot more funding. I was
going to say, I think at this point, their budget is pretty high.
Yeah, for a TV show. TV shows' budgets are still, at that time, much smaller than film budgets. These days, they spend a lot of money on some shows.
I will admit, there's something just very creepy about old technology, just kind of out of place like that, or like out of time. It's not really out of time, but kind of it is, because it's set up to work, and like Desmond, we don't know that his name is... Well, do we know that his name is Desmond?
No.
We don't know that his name is Desmond, but we know that his name is Desmond. So, I think just knowing that he's from Jack's present and down there interacting with all of this old stuff.
Hi, everyone. So, funny story. A second ago you're hearing us talk, a tornado came into our area, and since everything is hooked up to the electricity, everything shut off. And it has been a couple weeks. So we are finally finishing this. Although for you it was a couple seconds. We are finally finishing this, talking about the first episode of Season 2. So we can thank Mother Nature for this funny little transition. But we were talking about Man of Science, Man of Faith, the Season 2 premiere, in which we go into the hatch.
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum.
So, again, we might have recapped a couple seconds ago as well. They finally went down into it. Just like any old TV show, they take their sweet time actually doing it. Because we open it. Well, how do we get down? Oh, let's go down. Okay, maybe we'll do this. And then they finally go down, and then who went down first? Kate went first?
Yeah, Kate went first.
Because they have the wires. They strung the
she
wires
fell.
together.
No, Locke went first.
Locke did go first.
What? Locke went first because he went first, he fell, and then she followed him.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure.
No, Kate went first.
And Desmond
fell.
Got her.
Or whatever, and he followed her. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and was it Jack was holding
Oh, no.
Jack was holding the
Jack
wire
was-
rope,
Jack-
and
Jack
it was
was not
cutting
wi-
into his hands,
Jack
right?
was not with them.
No, it was Locke.
That was
Locke
Locke.
was holding.
Man, you see what happens?
So he
people?
did go second.
Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't
Yeah,
have
Jack-
any palms
Jack-
left, but
Jack wasn't even there because he came and saw the wire there and went, "You stupid people, I can't believe I got to do this."
He's making
He didn't
that.
say that, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was his face. But
Yeah.
mostly Jack is a jerk like that, so
That Matthew Fox
Yeah.
face of.
more like
That was more of a Sawyer face. That, my
wait. Do it again.
yeah, so the Sawyer face is more, and the Jack face is like that, like he's about to cry, like a little baby. Yeah, and I I had forgotten all of that. I remembered everything in the backstory, but I didn't know it was this early in the season because we finally get when Jack saves his wife to be.
Yeah.
Because he does the long surgery, he doesn't think it works, so he goes running at the stadium, and he's getting just pwned, as the kids used to say, by this other guy who's just running.
It's been a while since I've heard that used.
Yeah.
Did people still use that?
Probably not. I was never hipper with it. But it's this this delightful, very handsome Scottish guy who helps him because Jack sprains his ankle or twists his ankle while trying to keep up, and tells him something and uses the phrase "brother," just like that.
See you in another life, brother.
Yep, it will be important later, and then it turns out Jack miraculously fixed her spinal thing to where, what does he say? He's crying, trying to tell her. Of course he's crying. I'm sorry, I can't. I couldn't do it. And she's like, oh, then why can I move my toes?
What is that syndrome when you fall in love with your caretaker? Florence Nightingale? No.
Nightingale syndrome.
Is that what it is?
It might be. It's basically, it's. Did you said save, right?
Yes.
Or did you say doctor? Because there's one for saving too.
I said caretaker.
Caretaker. Because there's a caretaker one. Then there's one for when people save your life and you you do have this attachment to them, but you end up having to sift through. You don't like them because you like them. You like them because they saved you, but you don't realize that. You're drawn to them because they did something pretty big for you. So, and it'd be similar in this where you're the caretaker thing. What do they always say about doctors and psychiatrists, psychologists? Never get involved with your patients.
I mean, they take an oath against it, I think.
Yeah. And so,
no wonder it didn't work out for him. Now, I am remembering an episode where Jack and his dad are sitting with their feet in the pool. Did we already watch that?
We already did.
Okay.
That was Jack's previous backstory episode, which was Do No Harm, which I believe that is the one where...
That is a really interesting conversation.
Yeah, that's the one where it's his wedding, and his vows are real cringe for most of it, and then he saves it at the end where you're like, what are you doing, dude? But, yeah, so the pool conversation happened. That was episode 20 of last season. And then this is further back. We're starting to do this thing where, okay, the first level of flashbacks on the show are what happened to lead them to the plane. And outside of Michael and Walt's whole story. But now we're starting to go into, this is right before we're mementoing this. It's, this was right before the last one. Oh, now this one's before. We're going backwards as we go forwards.
So, would you say that the first season kind of goes forwards in the flashbacks, right?
It kind of it establishes them.
It does because they all end up at the airport.
Yep.
Would you say that the second season goes backwards?
So far, it feels like that. Okay, this first one, we're...
Because then the third one...
Back further, and I think that's what's going to happen until 4. The first 3 seasons are, we get backstory to the backstory. The island's going this way on the timeline, and the backstories are going like this. And then, of course, 4 will be completely different. And then 5 and 6 are even more different. Because how long can you go before the flashback formula gets old and you run out of stuff to talk about and show because you've shown everything?
Apparently 5 seasons.
But they don't do all flashbacks. That's what I'm saying. They do 70-some episodes of only flashbacks. Not even.
Are you not counting Flash Sideways as Flash?
No, because that's a completely different timeline.
So the Flash Sideways is 6, right?
Yeah, and then 4 is the forwards, and then that means the end of 3 is also a 4, the last episode. Yeah. That's how they set that up.
So what's 5?
I think they go back to the flashback, but I don't remember how. But we also have a bunch of new characters.
I think that 5 is the one where half of the time, half of the cast exists in the 70s, and then half of the...
Yeah, that's
What is the flashback format?
that's what I'm wondering. And again,
don't
we have
know.
a
I can't even-
bunch of new characters by season 5.
That is
So there's more to, and that's what happens with shows like these. You add characters, so
That is-
then you're able to.
that is one
do
thing I
that.
do appreciate. I appreciate most of the characters they add. The ones that I can think of off the top of my head right now. I appreciate most of the characters that they add.
Yeah, it's already a good ensemble, and then they just add more good characters.
But this is also your most hated season.
Still like characters in my most hated season of the whole show. Like Desmond's great.
Desmond is your favorite character, isn't he?
No, Hurley's my favorite character.
That's right. I remember for a long time when I was a kid watching this. We haven't met him yet, but Ben was my favorite character.
He's one that I remember. He looked a lot younger than the actor really was. Michael Emerson was 40 or 50 something, but he looks like he's in his 30s, if I remember. So now I think he's got to be 70. It was something like that. He's way older than he looked. And I'd be like, no, he's not that old. And I think your brother looked it up, and it was like, no, yeah, he's old. I was like, that doesn't. He's got this weird I don't even know what you call it, this youthfulness to him.
Makeup does a lot of things, and this is back when they still did things, physical makeup.
But I don't think there was that much applied. It didn't. I don't remember. But we haven't seen him yet.
I don't know. When you spend all day sweating on an island like that, you gotta think.
Yeah. Or sweating in the hatch on your little whatever bike thing he was on. Yeah. It's a good setup episode where we again brought up the how do season production schedules work. Did they film any of this episode at the end of one outside of one shot? How does this did they I'm just curious how much of this episode was filmed back to end season 1.
I would guess probably a lot of it, because the way you usually tell with shows like that is if their hair changes, and I don't think their hair changed that much.
Maybe in that first scene, even because I would doubt they'd film the whole episode. You'd think,
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I don't know. So I'm gonna ask Aaron, as he seems the most fit of the three of us. Have you ever tried to do run up the stairs thing like that?
I've actually been thinking a lot about that over the last couple weeks. What do they call? Is it
Stairmaster.
No, is
Tour
it,
de Stade or
yeah,
something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been thinking about the rules or whatever about that.
There's rules?
Well, do you go up and I don't remember from the episode. Did he go up and down the same set of stairs, or did he go up and over and then down?
I think he went up and over and then down, because I think him and Desmond were doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And then got an aisle away from each other and then raced.
That's right, yeah. And
On
then,
your left.
So
Different movie.
Yeah, I know.
do you have to do lower bowl and upper bowl depending on the stadium? How's it even work?
Well, I don't think it's a sport. I think it's a workout.
I know. But
And then I
no,
think,
it sounds like fun.
and you had said, Jake,
It does not
Did
sound
they
like
just-
fun for me.
did they just let him in? And I go, yeah, it depends. You'd think, well, a lot of high school and a high school field you can just walk onto.
Yeah, but
But
that
also-
was not a high school
But
field.
I was gonna say, but that's clearly not a high school field, and they're in the city, so it's not like you're gonna have some wide open. How did he get in there? But then again, you never know. I have no idea.
Have either of you ever seen the TikToks? There's a guy that Instagram. You are not on social media. I forget about that. Have you ever? Either of you ever seen any of the videos? There's this dude that goes into college football stadiums and doesn't. I wouldn't. It is breaking and entering because he's getting into somewhere he's not supposed to be, but he does it by finding an unlocked door, and there's always an unlocked door. And he gets onto the field and kicks a field goal,
Huh.
and then he escapes. And I just think I've only seen the Big House one, and I just think, man, Ann Arbor is so about that. That's ballsy to just post it, unless it's all fake and they let him on there for
Could be.
publicity.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that it's not, but you know.
A man can dream.
Well, and that's the other thing too, is like if it's not publicity and he's showing all these people how to get in and what doors are left
Wouldn't
unlocked.
he get arrested?
Well, not only that, but it's a significant security breach.
Yes. It is.
Would the security guard who left it open get fired?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. You wonder if they like pay him to try to get in.
Then
they can catch holes in there.
there are people who have jobs specifically like that.
Yeah,
For
I wonder if that's what they do. They have him do that so they can see where their weaknesses are.
Drew's brother did that for a while,
Gotcha. Good old friend of the podcast, Drew. Hi, Drew.
and his brother's name. What's his brother? Josh.
Josh. Hi, Josh. Yeah, but for many reasons that we've already laid out, I don't have much else to say about Man of Science, Man of Faith, other than having you see the hatch, you see the computer, and Desmond popping out after saying "brother" again, kind of makes Jet go, "No," like you, and then it ends. Is a
I was
good
going
way
to say
to start
he
season.
says you.
Yeah.
And it does his face when he does. Just Matthew Fox is a good actor. It's just the character is just such a little,
In his defense, or in the reaction's defense, Desmond is a bit more memorable looking than Jack is.
Yeah. He kind of looks like Scottish version of Jack. But then again, white dudes with beards.
Desmond
Yeah.
looks like Desmond doesn't have a beard at that point.
I thought he did. Or is it the
No.
sideburns?
I don't think so.
He's clean shaven up until he,
And later?
yeah.
Okay. For some reason in my head he always has a beard.
When he starts laying on the beach all Fabio with the shirt unbuttoned, that's when he starts growing the beard.
I can't wait.
You're not wrong.
That's all I got to say.
Aaron, you got anything?
I don't think so.
This has been like 3 weeks ago for me,
Yeah.
so
Oh, it's like a month.
is it really?
It's
Yes.
been a while.
Yes, I barely remember it. I remember the end of the next episode because I always get really pumped about the end of the next episode. But
I don't remember it, but that's next week.
yeah. All right. Other than that, thank you for watching our takes on this. I know it was kind of broken up because of the tornado, and
Everyone's okay, by the way.
yes, even though we're underneath a steel girder, we're okay. Anyway, if you want to check us out during the week, Jared, where can they find us?
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, the funny TikTok, and X.
Formerly known as Twitter.
And you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and hey, if it's YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, ring our notification bell. Make sure you like us and rate us on all those apps, and swing by our groovy website.
You know what? I think I'm going to stop making that joke. I kind of want to refuse to give X the validity that it has.
Agreed. Twitter.
No, just don't mention it.
Twitter.
Do we actually have a Twitter?
Yeah.
Shows how much I track with this social
Yeah.
medias. Anyway, until next time we are, what are we covering?
We
Episode
are
2, what's it called?
watching episode 2 of season 2, Adrift. I don't remember.
I do remember it.
I mean, I have an inkling of an idea.
Also, before we get out of here, I just want to point out, Aaron now has a laptop. He felt lonely not having a laptop, apparently.
I don't see a laptop. I see a
Crap.
glorified placemat.
Is that yours, or is that the one that I had? That is yours.
Oh, this is mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Just because Apple didn't work out for you and I doesn't mean it doesn't work out for others.
Sorry, Aaron.
It works great for the twice a month that I open it up.
Ah, Gotcha.
It's kind of gotten to a point where if you don't actually like do work, you don't really need a laptop.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that was our thoughts on Lost. Come on back next week. We're gonna cover this, like Jared said, Drift episode or season 2, episode 2. And until then, let's get lost.